This podcast is brought to you by Varietea.
Hi everyone, welcome to Varietea. I'm Irsya, your host for today, and you are currently listening to Run, There is a Preacher in the Town. Sounds fishy, right? Well, in today's episode, we'll be talking about a little bit more sensitive issue, which is sexual violence in relationship. Please listen to this podcast if you feel like your partner is touching you at places you do not want to be touched, or even after you say no. It is still a sexual violence, so walk away before it becomes worse. Before proceeding, I would like to give a trigger warning that this episode talks about sexual assault experiences. It might be uncomfortable to some listeners. Well, what is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual behavior that is offensive, humiliating, or intimidating. It can be written, verbal, or physical, and it can happen in person or online. Anybody can experience sexual harassment regardless of their gender. So today's topic will be focusing on the sexual assault in a relationship. Despite being in a relationship with someone, it does not justify any unconsented sexual behavior that they do towards you. Consent is when you agree or give permission for something to happen. So if you say no or you do not agree to give the permission, it is non-consented. It is important to always ask for consent before committing any sexual activities, including kissing, cuddling, or any kind of sex, even if it was consented in the past. Being in a relationship does not mean that we will always be in the mood to have sexual activities together, so remember to ask first. It will become an assault if they insist on doing it despite you saying no. Your no or rejection does not need any justification, and it should be respected by your partner in whatever cases. Sexual assault may happen, this case might happen or become worse if you are normalizing and accepting all those actions by your partner. They might feel like it is okay for them to do so just because you guys are in a relationship. So voice it out or just walk away before it's too late. Now it is the time for us to move into the next segment. In this segment, I will be sharing a story of sexual assault in a relationship. To respect the person's privacy, she wished to not reveal her name. For your information, the story I am about to tell is with her consent. And this is how she wrote her story. I will be reading this story from her point of view. In the first week we started dating, he asked me to touch himself. I was thinking like, no, we were moving too fast, slow down. We just started dating, I don't want to do that, so I refused. But when I refused, he forced me to, by pulling my hand, making it touch himself. I was mad, but he laughed it off. To not make it a bigger issue, I just brushed things off. There, the huge red sign that I stupidly ignored until I got myself involved in all of these unwanted sexual activities for years before I was finally able to walk away. I realized that the very first moment when I let down my dignity for him, it was like giving him a hammer to continuously knock it until I left with nothing. Like giving him the free opportunity, free pass card for him to commit anything just to fulfill his desire and lust. Staying in a relationship that made me doubt whether he really loved me or just wanted to fulfill his lust selfishly is mentally exhausting. Whenever I rejected him, he just won't listen. He will gaslighting me, making me believe that he did it for love. Those words like, if I don't do it with you, then with who else should I do? I am your boyfriend. I am doing this because I love you. I was so foolish. I was fooled by all these words, so much that whenever he spit it out, I would lose my senses and just let him do whatever he wants. There were times where we both consented, but most of it felt like it was forced. I couldn't stand it. How could I be so weak? Doubts, anxiety, overthinking, I was in misery. He didn't really put much effort into our relationship. When it comes to going out on normal days, I will be the one who planned it all out. But for him, he will only follow the plan and be excited just to touch me whenever we met, like it was normal. Even at public places, it was disgusting, shameful, and horrible. It took me years to finally come to my senses, to realize my self-worth, my dignity are the most important. I was fighting alone by myself. Not even my close friend knew about this matter before I broke up with him. It was embarrassing, so I kept it to myself, thinking that it was normal for a relationship. Well, it was actually not. And of course, whenever I talk to him about this matter, it won't go anywhere. He will just justify himself as usual. I was so glad that I was finally able to cut him off fully without any attachment left. I was able to not answer his calls or texts. I blocked him all on social media, blocked his number, deleted all pictures. And now that I am so much happier without him, I finally realized my self-worth. There is no turning back to him. I'm glad that I made this choice, so I encourage others. If you feel like you are in my position, take a step back and just walk away. It is not worth staying if they won't respect you. It is hard to leave a habit. There are a lot of people out there who will respect yourself way better, and you are not alone. And that is the end of her story. From her story, we can see how miserable a sexual harassment can be, even if you are in a relationship. It makes yourself doubt, miserable, and feeling worse. Again, despite being in a relationship, it does not mean sexual harassment won't happen. If it does, read the first sign and walk away. They won't change their habit easily. If you let it happen once, the abuser won't stop. They will think it as a free pass to commit again. So do not waste your time and your body. You are not alone. Talk about it, share your concern, and love yourself more. Tell your friends, share it with your family. And to be honest, the person who told the story is one of my closest friends that I met online. Listening to her story makes my heart ache. I couldn't imagine how tough it is for her to go through this alone. And now I am making this podcast with her permissions and as her wish to spread awareness about sexual harassment in relationships and encourage people who is in the same position to be brave to walk away from that toxic relationship. Well, it has come to an end for our podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you will take the good side of my podcast and be brave to walk away in a relationship where sexual violence happen. Thank you for listening, and please stay tuned for more podcasts from IPM Irsya and from Varietea.